Two new polls by Nanos Research conducted for CTV News are shedding some light on Canadians' top priorities for the federal government and their thoughts on MPs who cross the floor.
Yeah, we saw a few of those before Parliament ended. CTV's Jeremie Charron is live now with more. Jeremie, it's interesting, this Nanos Research showing how Canadians are really split in terms of floor crossing. I know we're jumping ahead on topics here, but I found this really stunning. The idea, basically it's a third, a third, a third.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if we want to start with the floor crossers, I mean, certainly some interesting numbers, and certainly topical when you look at the fact we've seen two floor crossers, Chris D'Entremont and Michael Mah, cross from the Conservatives to the Liberals, the governing Liberals, of course. And there's been a lot of talk about whether or not that should be allowed. Now, of course, it is right now under the current structure, the current rules allow for an MP to cross the floor and join another party. But there has been a lot of talk about whether or not that should be the case. And this Nanos survey commissioned by CTV News asked Canadians how they felt about the floor crossers and whether or not this should remain the case, that floor crossers, that MPs should be allowed to cross the floor as they have. 1/3 said that things should stay as they are and that they should be allowed to do so. But the two other thirds believe that other options were better, that they should not actually be able to cross the floor without, either one, triggering a by-election, or two, having to sit as an MP instead. So interesting to look at the numbers and the fact that 2/3, Nick and Jen, believe that the current way things are should not be the case.
It's fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Jeremie, what does the poll say in terms of how Canadians are feeling the priorities should be for the federal government in 2026?
Yeah, when you look at where Canadians feel in terms of what should be prioritized over the next year by the federal government, pretty clear that Canadians believe that domestic issues, things that are directly right now impacting them, should be prioritized over relations with Canada and the U.S., for example. So when you look at the breakdown of what Canadians believe should be the number one priorities, number one on that list is the rising cost of living. So 26% of respondents believe that that is the number one priority and should be the number one focus for the federal government. That is up from 21% when the question was asked in September. Number two on that list, jobs in the economy. 18% of people believe that should be one of the top priorities. That's up from 16% in September. And down a little bit on the priority list is trade negotiations with the U.S. 17% of respondents would like to see that as the number one priority versus 21% back in September. So that number has dropped a little bit, but trade negotiations with the U.S. has been among the top priorities for about a year. And important to note that, as things stand, in terms of relationships between Canada and the U.S., in terms of the geopolitical situation, all three of those things are kind of related right now. The rising cost of living, jobs, the economy, and the relationship with the U.S. Hard to ignore or focus on one while ignoring the other. They are all kind of interconnected, but interesting to see specifically where Canadians stand on what they, feel should be number one.
Yeah, there was a lot of intersect and overlap on those top three. If that was a Venn diagram, Jeremie, it would be more circled than sort of, fig, well, I don't know, whatever shape it might be. But anyway, Jeremie Charron, live in Ottawa. I forget shapes. Circles where I was going.
Arrows,
anyway,
I'm just thankful you didn't ask me about the Venn diagram.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I thought I'd go there and then I lost the thread. Anyway, Jeremie, we appreciate this. Thanks.